Hello, 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 everyone. It's Pam Esquire, also known as Your Law Intellect. I am back. And thank you to everyone that is going to catch the replay. Speak to me as you come on in. You guys know the routine. Hey, CBBJ, always the first one on here. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, Gail, Jonathan, good to see you. Miss King, good to see you. You guys hit the thumbs up, hit that like as you come in. If you have not done so already, please subscribe. We are going to go over the actual document of the Nicki Minaj and the versus Nosy complaint. Hey, Kathy. Ray Bishop. Hey. Hey, Iris64 Realtor. Hey, Deb. Hey, Patricia. I'm glad that you caught it. I'm glad that you caught it. Maybe I have to get some set time so you guys will have a little bit of a heads up when I'm gonna come on. Hey, good evening, good evening, good evening. Good evening. I hope you guys are having a fabulous day. We have one more day. This was like the longest week ever for me. I don't know why. It was just super, super, super busy. Then in the morning, I still have a federal court case. Typically, I don't stack on work like I've done this week. I was doing 3 and 4 depositions in one day. It was just crazy. But I seen everybody has been talking about the lawsuit. We touched on it a little bit yesterday. So if you guys have not caught the video from yesterday, please go back and watch that. But yesterday I kind of read, I believe, some of the notes from one of the articles, but I had a chance today to pull up the actual complaint that Nicki Minaj's attorney filed. So yeah, does anybody know if we have a verdict on Tim Norton from Sweetie Pies? Last time I checked, we didn't have a verdict. We want to make sure that we still don't have a verdict on that. Then we heard, good evening, Jackie. We heard that Cardi B has pled guilty to some a misdemeanor charge. She avoided jail time for that assault a few years back. So she got that case behind her today in New York. We've just had a lot of lawsuits and litigation this week. It's been so much to touch on. You know, this is my type of teaching. I love this type of stuff. I'm like, oh, lawsuits, lawsuits, lawsuits. Does anybody know if we have a verdict on Tim Norton? Tim Norman, I'm sorry, from Sweetie Pies. Anybody? We're just gonna wait for a few people to come in before we get started. Anybody? Nobody knows. Okay. Oh, no verdict yet. All right. Yeah, the last time I checked, they were like 14 or 15 hours in, which we discussed yesterday. Oftentimes, when they deliberate like that, there's a couple of holdouts or maybe one holdout. Um, so they may have put on a good show. So my understanding was Tim Norman did testify, and he basically testified as to he tried to help his nephew. He wouldn't hurt his nephew. He brought him down to where he was, wanted him to help take over the restaurant, paid his rent. And that's a very, very challenging and shaky, to have a defendant testify is very, very difficult to come to that decision. Let's just say that every defendant almost wants to testify because they feel like that they can handle it. But baby, that's a tough decision to make if you're going to let your client testify. But part of that as well is I've polled a lot of jurors, and the jurors have said, even though they tell them that they don't have to testify, you can't use it against them because in theory they're innocent. They go in there as an innocent man. Now whether they're found guilty, they may leave as a guilty person, but he comes in innocent. So just because he doesn't testify, you're not supposed to use it against him. But typically, juries do want to hear from the defendant. That's what I've learned. But sometimes them defendants mess their own case up. So, good evening, Ava. He also said Andre signed the insurance policy. Oh, wow. Yeah, I didn't keep up with it like I probably should have. I had the indictment when it first came down. I don't think I ever talked about it, but I did read the allegations against him. So I read articles here and there. So I know one of the articles talked about they were like 5 insurance policies. And so 5 different people from those different companies came to testify regarding those policies. And it seemed like the ones where you had to have a physical, I thought, according to the articles, that he didn't go through with those. So you said Cardi B should have went to jail for the amount of violence that happened. Um, when I was kind of looking into the Cardi B situation, there have been a few lawsuits. I know at least one that I read where there have been allegations against her and her husband for just the violent tendencies or the alleged violent tendencies. Of course, I wasn't there, but there have been people that have tried to, at least one guy that I know in New York that tried to sue over kind of similar allegations as far as the assaultive behavior. So, yeah. Yep. So let's try to pull up this document real quick. A lot of people are just going to have to catch this good replay because I have to get ready for court tomorrow. So this is the lawsuit that was actually filed. And I think by now we know their real names. We already knew Nicki Minaj's real name, but we didn't necessarily know the YouTuber, so I didn't want to put that up there, even though it's in all the articles. So it's a very interesting lawsuit. It's only 4 pages long, very quick and to the point. So I'm going to read over the lawsuit, and what I want you guys to do is tell me what your thoughts are. Do you think this is defamation? And you have to be in a juror's mind where we tell a jury you can't act on emotion, you only can act on the law, and you can only act on the facts. After I read this, compared to the articles, I didn't feel the same way that I felt when I first heard all the comments that was made. Let's just start out with that. So, the introduction has this action is brought. Now I want you guys to pay attention to this intro too. This intro is very, very interesting and telling. So it says this action is brought to vindicate the reputation of plaintiff, a superstar artist who is known as Nicki Minaj. The defendants herein have outrageously defamed plaintiff by posting a video on their Twitter page in which defendant, who goes by the name of Nosy, falsely and maliciously stated that plaintiff is a, quote, cokehead who is, quote, shoving all the cocaine up her nose, end quote. Further evidencing a fundamental lack of decency, Green has also posted vile comments about plaintiff's 1-year-old son. While these comments are not actionable, they nonetheless demonstrate why punitive damage should be awarded in this case. So while everyone was kind of going around talking about what was said against the son, which I said was deplorable, I didn't like the way she came at the kid. Kids should be off limit. The baby has nothing to do with it. But you see that her attorney announces in this document that even though we don't like what happened with the son's statements are not even a part of this lawsuit because they acknowledge it's non-actionable just because she talked about her son. So that's the first thing that's going to be not included in all of this. In a different age, her lies would have been meaningless because she is the ultimate, quote, nobody. So they call this person who you're suing a nobody. On information and belief, so that means that they're not sure, a person whose main accomplishments in life have been a string of criminal charges, bail jumping, and bad debts. But this is the age of social media, one in which a nobody can find an undeserved following through relentless self-promotion. Green is one of those, quote, nobodies, as she posts content belonging to her wholly owned company, and it has her company name on multiple social media platforms. One of those platforms is the Nosy Live Twitter page, which inexplicably has approximately 3,300 followers. Green therefore has means to publish a lie, knowing that it will metastasize as it is retweeted by her followers, and then further retweeted by the followers of her followers, and so on. That is what has happened here. And just the day following Green's September 12th, 2022 publication. So literally, what is today's date? The 15th. This complaint was filed immediately after this publication of her lie. The plaintiff is a, quote, cokehead on her Twitter page. Almost 2,000 people had liked it. Most importantly, more than 260 people have retweeted it, which led to a firestorm of social media attention, which was undoubtedly caused by multiple levels of subsequent retweets. While social media is an extraordinarily effective vehicle for spreading lies, it does not confer a license to do so. On information and belief, and as discovery, that means they don't know. When you say on information and belief, it's what you believe. And as discovery will likely reveal, she has been acting as a proxy for another performer who, mistakenly believing that she and plaintiff are stars of equal stature, has repeatedly used other social media intermediaries in a hopeless effort to advance her career at plaintiff's expense. However, the fact that plaintiff was acting at the behest of another does not make her conduct less egregious or excuse her from the consequences of the damage that she has caused plaintiff to suffer. So we're going to sit with that just for a couple of minutes here. If you guys read this intro, it sounds like, and I didn't follow, I'm not a Nicki Minaj fan. If it's a song I like from anybody, I like them, but I don't go hard for any celebrities. I don't go hard on either side. I am just neutral, and I am about the law. If you are to look at this introduction, it looks to me like there is some underlining issue that all of us don't even know about, or maybe y'all know about it and I don't know about it, because you called her nobody, then say that she has the potential to spread this information and it go basically internet wide. Do I like what she said? Absolutely not. Do I condone half of these internet beefs? I think it's ridiculous. It's room for everybody, and there's platforms that everyone can discuss their opinions and engage in their followers that are their tribe. So I don't agree with any of this. The back and forth, the Twitter beefs, all of that, that's not my thing. But clearly by this intro, it seems more personal, and I think they kind of got away from the legal by being so personal. That's just my opinion. You guys can tell me, what do you think about what her intro is for those that are in the chat? What do you think about this introduction? And then we'll get into the actual cause of action. You said the underlining is the interview Nosy did with the victim of Nicki's husband. Okay. But she mentions another performer. Now the interview about the alleged, or the victim, the person that I guess her husband had allegations against him about, is she a performer? So what performer are they talking about in this lawsuit when they basically say she's the mouthpiece. She's really not the main person. Just trying to minimize who she is what this whole intro was. It's to make it seem like she's nothing. It was just way too much for me. You said it's a messy intro. You said, I think you're right. Something is going on. Sounds like Nosy is doing this for Cardi B. Okay. Sounds like she's weaponizing lawsuit beyond defamation claims. Okay, I want you guys to keep all this in mind because a lot of what you're saying is you're on point. You guys are some very, very smart people. I think nobody is correct in the potential to go viral comes from Nicki's namesake. Right. So, but I believe she said since this lawsuit, she went up 3,000 subscribers because she doesn't even have a huge platform. When I went over there, she had like 13,000 or something. So her platform has expanded. So Nicki, almost by doing this, helped her platform expand, which is a person who allegedly was saying things about her husband or was interviewing the alleged victim for her husband. So was this really like well thought out? Was this really well thought out? Nosy said that they think Cardi is behind this. Well, listen. I didn't know. So does Nicki Minaj and Cardi cool down? Like, I am so out the loop. Nosy says she's never met or talked to Cardi. This is a lot. It's a lot. So let's go to the claims. Because like I said, it's a very, very short lawsuit. So basically, for at least the past year, defendants have used the various Nosy Live social media platforms in an effort to demean and insult plaintiff, efforts which were of no concern to plaintiff. So you didn't care, but I'm going to file a lawsuit. Like, I want to tell the world that I really don't care what this girl got to say because she's a nobody. But yet and still, I'm going to file this lawsuit because why? The point of it is you feel like this person had enough to somehow affect your reputation. That's the point of defamation. But I go on. However, the situation changed on September 12th when defendants posted a video on the Nosy Twitter page in which Green stated that plaintiff is, quote, shoving all the cocaine, end quote, shoving it all the cocaine up her nose, allegedly. Thank you, allegedly. But we all know it's true. Listen, I can't even say allegedly with that because we know it's true. I'm not saying allegedly on that. Nicki Minaj is y'all see what she said, end quote. They said Green's video statement was defamatory per se in that it charged plaintiff with a serious crime. I want you guys to just marinate on that. And B, tended to injure plaintiff in her trade, business, or profession. Her video statement was false because plaintiff has never used cocaine. Her on behalf of the company made the video statement with actual malice and that they either knew it was false or knew that there was a high probability that it was false. The video was not protected by any privilege. The video constituted slander per se. By reason thereof, plaintiff has been damaged in an amount to be determined by the jury, but which is in no event less than $75,000. $75,000. Everyone asking why that was pled. This is a federal court case. When you have a federal court case, you have to have a jurisdictional amount. And in order to go in federal court, they don't want to see you unless you got damages of at least $75,000. That doesn't mean that's all she wants to go for. That just means that she pled the minimal amount and whatever they can prove. She might go to trial and ask for $1 quadrillion. You don't know what she's going to ask for. So I had that question asked to me why she only asked for $75,000. In addition, because the conduct was so willful, wanton, and malicious, she's entitled to recover punitive damages and the amount determined by the court. So then they have their prayer for relief, which is basically what she is asking the court for. So let's back up a little bit. We had a conversation yesterday and we were talking about slander. So basically, slander is verbal. When you have slander per se means those categories I talked about. You know what? I'm gonna pull that up. I have a case. See if I can find the case. Okay. So I have this case right here. Y'all see, I'm always research. I've done stuff in New York. I don't practice in New York. Let me give my disclaimer. I am not licensed in the great state of New York. However, I have several friends. I have several people that have had issues in New York, even prior to all this stuff with Whitehead. So I'm quite familiar with a lot of this stuff that has to do with New York. If I wanted to go into New York, typically they allow me to if I wanted to. But okay, so the 4 classes of exceptions to the requirement that plaintiff prove actual damage. So typically, if you have a defamation slander case, you have to prove actual damages. But if you fall under these 4 categories, you don't have to put damages. That's why you have these people do these general amounts. So you have number 1, the statements charging plaintiff with a serious crime. 2, statements that tend to injure plaintiff in her trade, business, or profession. 3, statement that plaintiff has a loathsome disease. Or 4, imputing unchastity to a woman. Those were the defamation per se that you don't have to plead any type of damages, which is why Nicki Minaj just generally put a number, but she didn't put, because you got to prove that. If you got to do actual damages is what you really lost. She will have to prove what she really lost, right? So here's the problem. They said her attorney said it was defamation per se because statements charging plaintiff with a serious crime. Did you guys see in this document where she was charged with a serious crime? I only seen the shoving all this cocaine, shoving all the cocaine up her nose. That's what I saw. Did you guys see anything else that said basically she was slanging weight around the country or anything of that nature? Huh? Okay, I want to know, my jury over here, I want to know, did you guys see the serious crime up in here? So if I were defending this, and I'm not saying that again, I don't agree with it. I don't need no Bobs coming after your girl, because I'm not about that life. I'm about that legal life, okay? And I see how they roll. They like the beehive. But when I look at this complaint, I'm like, it's missing some things. Because what happens is it really was not defamation per se. It can be defamatory, but not per se, because it's not charging you with the crime. And I'm going to go to a case. This is a New York case that I have used to help somebody before. And I am going to go to what was said in this case. What was said in the complaint alleged, and this is a whole nother case. This is case law. This is part of the law, unless they changed it in New York since that time. The complaint alleged in this case, in the presence of 2 other persons, do you have a problem? You take drugs? I've worked in the towers and I know a person who is on drugs and you look like one. I've been thinking of sending you for a drug test. This was the statement that they made. They were also sued for defamation per se. Another thing we talked about yesterday, because Nicki Minaj is a public figure, she has to prove malice. Malice is they did cite what malice was. But malice is not I hate you. It doesn't matter if they can't stand each other, they won't drag each other in the street. It means you really had doubts in your head that she was a cokehead and you said it anyway. Like you had information to almost prove that it wasn't true, but you decided to report it. That's not what a lot of people are saying. Like a lot of people are saying, and I don't know if it's true or false, but they're taught somebody mentioned it in the comments about going towards the music and looking at different things. And I haven't listened to her music, so I don't know. So like there's some alluding to it or something like that in the music, some sort. That's what's being said. I don't know how true it is. So you do have to show malice. So like I said, it says, as noted under the standard, the plaintiff must demonstrate that the statements were made with a high degree of awareness of their probable falsity, and there must be sufficient evidence to permit the conclusion that the defendant in fact entertained serious doubts as to the truth of the publication. That's what malice is. So now you got to prove the malice and you got to prove the charge of a crime. So what you're saying is if somebody says that I do some type of drugs, then they're saying that they're saying, that I was charged with a serious crime, not just a crime, a serious crime. It's been held in New York that even some misdemeanors are not considered serious crimes, and it doesn't fall under defamation per se. So we have a little part in here where it says this is what the court held. Additionally, since the court did not charge slander per se under the theory of imputation of a serious crime, it is not necessary for us to decide whether charge of drug use will constitute such imputation. However, we know that the use of drugs does not constitute a crime in New York, much less a serious crime. Only the possession and or sale of the controlled substance and the use and or possession of drug paraphernalia and needles is prescribed. So you may have an issue with that depending on if this is still valid. I can't say that I've just been double checking and rechecking because that's not where I practice. Let me see what you guys say. Just purchase and use of coke. I don't know if I'd call that serious. I just see slander of her name. People will think she's on drugs. But let's think about that too. How many rappers she said that it affected her business, right? It affected her trade and her business somehow. How many people, when it affects your trade and business, it has to be that whatever you're accused of is somehow so far from your business that's why it affects it. How many rappers, how many artists, how many other singers do you see doing drugs, smoking weed, doing whatever? Does that really affect their business? Like the fact that we know that Snoop Dogg smokes weed all day long, did it ever stop us from Snoop Dogg? The fact that we knew that DMX had drug addiction, did it stop us at all from listening to their music? It did not. You have to prove that it somehow affected your business. Like there's some connection to it. I just think it's going to be difficult to prove that. So really, I'm not saying it's not defamation. It would be defamation per quad, not per se, where you don't have to prove damages. So now that makes if it's not per se, that's all your attorney alleged. That means that now you will have to prove special damages. You will have to prove special damages, and you didn't do that in your complaint. So if you didn't do that in your complaint, then that may be an issue. Then you have the malice issue. Just saying somebody don't like you and y'all beefing and she the front of somebody and she's basically protecting somebody else or whatever. That's not malice. Now mind you, she already said, she's attorney done already acknowledged on her behalf that talking about the song, we know that it's deplorable, but it's not actionable. You said isn't claiming that she is doing hard drugs inflammatory and isn't doing hard drugs a crime. She said it like she knows that is a less. I just read the case law. It's been held oftentimes that that's not enough. Now, if you're saying, now, if somebody says something like, in my opinion, oh my goodness, they out there, the way she was moving around and doing this and that. Now, I don't know this for sure. Like she started out saying allegedly, according to this. I didn't watch the video, but according to this, if you start out saying allegedly, it's almost like at first she was trying to, cover herself. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's not. Then she's like, well, she made it seem like she got some concrete facts or information. And we all know substantial truth or truth is also a defense. It's a complete defense to defamation, if that is the truth. Like if she can actually prove that. You said that blows them up more. There's a video clip of Nicki saying that people want to know her drug of choice, listen to her music. Oh my gosh. What? So I'm sure her attorney is downloading that. So I'm just saying, I think we get emotional in a lot of stuff, and it just sounds horrible that people can say whatever. But like we talked about, freedom of speech is one of the crux, it's the foundation of this country. And yeah, we don't like, it's like we want to be celebrity, but we only want people to like us and like everything we do and like all the choices we make. That's just not going to happen. I get emails of people that say things about me that they don't like. Oh, you're not making money, so now you're on YouTube. I get all type of stuff. It's not going to deter me from doing what I love to do, which is interacting with you guys and to break down what's in the news. But they go back and forth with each other. They go back and forth, and then your stuff is amazing. It's amazing to me. DMX addiction didn't affect his business. His behavior did. In fact, you get some people that say if they not doing it, then they don't even, their creative juices don't flow until it happens in the studio. How many artists have we seen that said that? Hey. There was a video and it looked like she had substance on her nose and she was sniffing a lot. Oh. I'm sure they're going to record all of that. Let's go back to when Nicki was on a judge on American Idol. There were times where it seemed that she was not at full capacity. And y'all, it's not saying, see, this is what one of the reasons why I started the platform, and I told a lot of attorneys you should do it. I like to hear what the citizens of my peers, because those are the ones that I persuade when I'm in front of them. You're the people that I have to persuade. I don't have to persuade lawyers. I don't have to persuade the judge. They're just there to basically help run the case in an efficient manner and to help problems that we may have. What should be admitted, objections. They're basically our referee. But the jury is the most important people in the room if you have a jury trial. Now, if you have a bench trial, of course, the judges. But if you have a jury trial, they're the most important people in the room. So what you guys think, and I watch what some people act out of oh, she should do it because she shouldn't have said that about her son. Well, you guys seen in the lawsuit that she's not even, this has nothing to do with her son at all. Everything has to do with the Coke statement. This has nothing to do with her son. So all the people that's out there and they're like, she should have never said that. She said her son was cock-ass. She said her son was going to be like his daddy and all of that stuff. It's not relevant to this lawsuit. It's just not, because that's not actionable. And she acknowledged that. You say a mutual combat. I already did that. It takes a lot when you had a long day. We pay people, just so you guys know, we pay people, if you're a really good trial attorney, before you do a trial, you do almost a mini trial where you actually pay a set of people, 6 to 12 people, to be like your test study. If I present this to you like this, Would you guys get what I'm saying? Would you guys just stay on your emotions, or will you say, oh, well, we're going to follow the law? Pam has shown that in this document that that's not defamation. So we're going to follow the law. We're going to find that and dismiss this case. We're going to find her that she basically don't give her a no cause, because that's what you get in a civil case, is the no cause, or they give you a judgment. Nicki went to Garcelle from The Real and Now Real Housewives for doing interviews with Jennifer as well. It's a sore spot. She accused of not caring about her son. This was a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, it just sounds so personal, because have I seen people do introductions in federal lawsuits? Absolutely, I have. But it sounded like it just came from a different place. Now, if you were alleging some other stuff, like some people, their reputation is so jacked up that they can't be defamed. That really is, like in New York, they really do have that, where if your reputation was already messed up, then you're a libel-proof plaintiff. I can't mess your reputation up more than it is. And I can see, like, if that's what she was trying to prove or something, but you're not really trying. I didn't understand the whole point of all this. She's a nobody. In the pleading for the judge to say she's a nobody. I'm saying that I'm being defamed when she dragging me and I'm the victim, but I'm going to go at her in the pleading and say she's a nobody. So Garcelle had bots going after her 14-year-old son, and Nicki went in. Oh, wow. The lawsuit is a defamation lawsuit that Nicki Minaj has filed against another YouTuber called Nosy Ho. And it was some words that were said on September 12th. So we're here on the 15th. So that attorney was like this, because that was filed immediately. Immediately that was filed. You said it seems personal. So I have presented my defense in this case, and I will be requesting that the court will dismiss this case because it is not actionable per se. It was not pleaded correctly. It's really it's defamation pro quad. It is not pro se per se. And there's no special damages. She didn't say how she was damaged. And my client has not done this with any actual malice. My client was just reporting what the issues were with the husband on her platform. She got upset about it and she took it personal. She came after me. I came after her. And what I came after her, I heard already. She said, go to her music. I went to her music. She left the interpretation up to me. That was my interpretation. And so now, Your Honor, I feel like there are no damages. Plus, in her field, I can show you several artists. Put it on the screen. I can show you several artists of people that smoke weed and do all type of stuff, and it does not affect their trade and their business. It's never affected who comes to see them at concerts. In fact, half of them drinking and smoking on stage. I went to a concert where all the people from the 90s was on there smoking weed before it was legal. So or doing other stuff before it was legal. So therefore, I will ask that you dismiss this case. And that's not even saying that what she said wasn't cool. I'm just saying following the law. I'm just saying following the law. You said, wait, what in the legal document she called nosy or nobody? That's tacky. Okay, let me go back. Let me see if I could go back. No, some of y'all a little late. Y'all a little late for court today. I don't want to have to hold you in contempt. But yeah, here's the introduction for you guys to read. I've already read it, so they're probably tired of hearing my voice. But in paragraph 2, you say, in a different age, Green's lie would have been meaningless because she is the ultimate nobody. On information and belief, a person whose main accomplishments in life have been a string of criminal charges, jail jumping, and bad debts. Yeah, that's what she said. That's what she said. I read it as a nobody using my name to become somebody off the coattail of my celebrity. It may be, but to say like I'm a no, but you know what though? If that's the case, then you'll say that about all YouTubers because everybody fights to break stories. Most people, their subscribers went up when they got that right person to come on their platform or they had that right commentary. They all can refer back to somebody they talked about that blew them up. So that does happen. But I mean to say, I was just a little extra for me. To each his own. He should have said she's a YouTube blogger who started my client was a drug as a fact spreading to my fans. Yes, because I'm not saying it's not defamatory. I'm just saying I question whether it's defamatory per se based on what I know about the law there. As not a practicing attorney there, but just on some case law that I've read there, it appears that it would be defamatory, of course, because you say somebody do drugs, it could affect their reputation and it whatever. But what I'm saying is you have to prove special damages, which was not pled in this complaint. You just said $75,000. Like you have to do well, not special. You have to do actual damages. So I need to know like the exact amount. Actual special. Some people call it both. You said for her to say she's the nobody, she is truly pressed. God gave you a lot. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, you guys like, subscribe, and share. I just tweeted you at a video talking about on it. Okay. Why would that attorney write that? It doesn't sound intelligent, let alone actionable. I don't know. Maybe because just like how I'm commentating on it, it would be assumed, even though I haven't seen the complaint before, it would be assumed that other people would pull it up. So I mean, this is some good, I guess, some good stuff to get out there to say somebody is upon information and belief. So I don't even know for real. I'm not saying it's true, but from what I heard, which sounds like the same thing that you're accusing her of doing, is repeating something that she heard. And the problem is what you can't do. Opinion is fine, and I don't ever want to deter people from their freedom of speech. But when you present anything from the standpoint as if it's fact, that's what becomes the problem. So if you say, I don't know if it's true, I don't know if it's not true, I don't know if this is just my opinion, I believe da 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 da. That means my audience is very clear that I have no outside information to know whether it's true or false. This is just my opinion from what I observed based on these facts. These are my observations. That's just what it is. Now, again, if you know that from somebody, regardless of what your opinion is, and you already know it's not true, then that's a whole different, you have concrete evidence of that, then that's a whole different thing. But you can give your opinion. You can give your opinion. I think they're kind of trying to deter people from giving their opinion. The issue with her in this case was she said it as a matter of fact, almost like she didn't say allegedly. She said allegedly first, and then according to this, she took it back and said, well, I know it for sure. I just think it was played wrong. I'm not saying that what she's saying was not defamatory. I just don't agree that it's defamatory per se. Let me get back over here. It was trending on Twitter. It's giving coke with Nicki Minaj. Ooh, Jesus. Maybe cocaine is the sauce, but I'm doing some reading. Nicki was accused of doing cocaine back in May 2021 and spoke out to end the rumors. Okay. Mental illness affect depressed, can't sleep and cry. Oh, it's given no matter how small you are, you can't say whatever you want. Yeah, people are going to be scared because if you look at it, these people aren't even necessarily coming after. I mean, aside from the Cardi B situation, because Tasha K did have a million people on her platform, but this person had like 13,000 on her platform. They're not even just trying to come after people that have larger reach anymore. They're like, and who can really afford lawsuits like this? Who can afford to defend against these laws? Who knows defamation law to the T and all the nuances? And every state is different and they got different laws, different statute. This works here, but this doesn't work here. Like how do you have that capacity financially to continuously defend that? What it does is it after a while it stops you from wanting to even talk about certain things. And that's the point of a lot of people filing lawsuits. They want to stop you from talking about your opinions. Because if I'm a smaller YouTuber and I feel like if I talk about this, then I might get sued, I ain't talking about that. So that's kind of the plan. I'm gonna get y'all to stop talking about me because I got long money. And I know you don't have long money. So you're gonna be the example. And then everybody else is gonna follow, be like, oh no, I don't want this to happen to me. Because it's nothing like seeing your name on the pleading. Like, regardless, you have to respond to it. Nikki said, I have a lot of friends or acquaintances in the industry who do coke. I don't judge them for it, but I've never tried it, never wanted to, never asked them to. So you're saying she has denied doing coke. What you gotta say? What? We're free over here. Can she use Nicki's drug reference lyrics as a defense? She should. She definitely should. Nicki has been going in on other women for 3 days straight. Now she's trying to cry victim. I can't. I haven't really. I watched it. I seen a couple of tweets that she put out there, and I don't know what's wrong with these artists this week. Everybody is just having a rough week. I'm like, September has been tripping on everybody. They are having a rough week. It hasn't been this many lawsuits and legal issues, like all clumped together in the same week. It just been, the block has been hot all week. You said Fanny, the DA in Atlanta, is using lyrics for the. Yes, I heard that. I heard that they're like that she's using the lyrics, and she said that she was. Now, I've seen that be used before here in a criminal trial. And yeah, their YouTube pages and Facebook and all the video that they did and all that got them caught up. These people with tissue paper feelings need to give it a rest. It's the point. That's why I said it has to be an underlining. I don't think we know everything. We may know, like somebody mentioned the interview that she did, and that may be the cause of it, but it just seems like it was a little bit. Nicki knew what was going on with her husband when she married him. So you knew that you may or may not get some type of backlash. Some people aren't going to try to look back. I don't know all of the details. But they're not going to go back to try to see what was the situation. They're not going to go back. They just see that it was a sexual assault type of an allegation. They're like, oh my God, that's some people. Then you have some people that it don't matter what Nicki going to do. They're going to have her back. They don't care what she does. They're the ones that's in the yeah, go ahead and sue. Go ahead and sue. They don't like, you can't sue because your feelings are hurt. You can't sue because your feelings are hurt. You have to be within the law. You have to be able to prove your case. Like, this is cool. Like the intro, you get all of this, publicity on it or whatnot. But you, at the end of the day, you got to follow what the law says. What does the law say? What does the law say? Some of these people are ridiculous and they windmill for who they like. Now, we have to give it to them. They do windmill for who they like. Once I read it, it was a very quick read. As you see, it was only a few pages. And that doesn't mean that more pages would have made it better or less. I've seen, other lawsuits I won't mention where that one page was like, oh, okay. So, but he did file this quite quickly. I guess to let you guys know, he got it on. He has a template to just put somebody's name in it and then quote the comment. Because that attorney, he or she did this quite quickly. But yeah, I'm not sure on the defamation per se for all those that have come in for it to be where you don't have to prove damages. I would say it was something where you would have to prove damages on in front of a jury. Not questioning whether it's defamatory, saying somebody uses drugs or whatnot. I don't think it affects her profession though. I think that would be difficult to prove because that's kind of known in the music industry that a lot of artists, dibble and dabble here and there in alcohol. I don't think that would affect her financially. If it were true, I don't think that it would affect her financially. Check out some of these. I don't think Nosy have that type of money. Well, new and in New York, those attorneys they ain't playing with you per hour. I don't know whether it's true or not. I think Nikki's just trying to get back at the chalk. She should get over it. She should have hired Cardi's attorney. Who should have hired Cardi's attorney? Because they saying Cardi might be behind it. So I don't know how she could hire her attorney. That's what the chat said. They mentioned that the word on the curb was that she could be have something to do with it. Oh, Nikki. Has anyone watched Nosy going in on Nikki the other day? I don't watch her channel, but it was entertaining. I didn't watch it. I did see somebody, I think Conscious did a clip and was talking when she was talking on the platform with someone else. And the little bit I saw, she did mention an interview that she did, but I didn't watch it long enough to catch on what the interview was. But you guys have enlightened me and told me that it was the interview with the person, the victim of Nicki Minaj's husband. He said, I agree with you. I think most people don't care if Nicki does it. Yeah. They were all in the chat like, you just don't do that. You call her baby caca, she should sue you. But see, that's just like off topic. Did anybody see the video of Kelly Price? You know, Kelly Price always has issues with somebody. So she goes live on Instagram and she's in Hertz and she gets into it with the Hertz guy because she said he was talking to her like she was garbage. And was like, you're not going to talk to me like I'm retarded. And, I have my million followers on here and they're going to see you calling 911 on me and da 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 da. The man asked her to leave the premises. Ma'am, that's called trespassing if they ask you to leave and you don't leave. So it does not matter if you believe you were talked to wrong or your feelings was hurt. But she said, I've tagged my attorney and you'll be hearing from my attorney. That's cool. I already missed the lawsuit I should have had. I'm going to file a lawsuit. Based on what? Do you know that's one of the reasons why I really I did not like representing people that were celebrities. And I still have a few that I do like their contracts and all that stuff because they call you all the time. I'm going to call my attorney just because they got money. It's like, you ain't got a cause of action, so what are you calling me for? They want to sue about every little thing. He was racist and he blah, 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 blah. I mean, she was going off if you guys saw it. Oh, okay. Yeah, Conscious TV did something today. Her husband's past is affecting her lifestyle and pocket. She should have thought 2 times about him. Just saying, yeah. I am not concerned with what others do with or put into their bodies. I don't care. I'm just back in the day with the good music. You think them people wasn't dibbling and dabbling? Nikki has had a slick mouth about other kids. It isn't about her child. She's been waiting in the cut for Nosy, and Nosy triggered her. Well, she helped her get her views up. So if it was only 2,000 people that watched it and liked it before, it's probably quadrupled. because she said that her numbers have went up. Like if your numbers go up where you get 2,000 subs that quick. And by the way, if you guys have not subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. We are almost at 2,000. So you guys, please, please, please subscribe if you have not done so already. My first time, what type of attorney are you? A little bit of this and a little bit of that. No, I do a lot of civil stuff and I do stuff in federal court now, but I have done criminal. There's not too many areas I have not done, except I've never done taxes. I don't do immigration. Um, I don't do secure transactions. I don't do bonds and all that stuff. I think that is the most boring thing on the planet. I don't do too much commercial, but a lot of civil stuff I have done. So breach of contracts, personal injury, and federal court, I do police misconduct, which are called 1983 cases when excessive force, constitutional violations. I've also challenged the state on certain laws that I feel that were unfairly interpreted. So those are the main things that I do now. I am gearing more towards doing more wrongful convictions than anything. I have done defamation. I did have a client that came on last week to talk about her experience with a defamation lawsuit. So yeah, that's pretty much the gist of what I have done. But I can again talk. I've done family law, so I've done divorces. I've done some probates. So I've done guardianships. So yeah, I've pretty much done that. I've worked in firms and I've worked for myself, which is what I currently do now is work for myself. All of this came back up because he didn't register out here in Cali. Yes, I saw that. Yeah, but in that case, he took her money and did not supply a car. Yeah, I get what you're saying, but it hurts when they give you your money back, it's usually within a certain amount of time. And if you prepay, that means that you're a gold member and you do it online. So I've called the 1-800 number and they tell you that. So I'm not sure. Like you weren't gonna get it back that day, you know. So I don't know. If they tell you to leave though and you don't, that is considered trespassing. That's what my concern was when I saw her. I'm like, I understand you're upset, but you can go to your car and call the 1-800 number customer care. And what happened? The police came and you still didn't get a car and you still didn't get your refund. They told you you'll have it in 24 hours after the police were there and you went through all of that. And now you said you're going to sue, but what are you suing for? If they're giving you a refund in 24 hours, tell me what you're suing for exactly. Oh, thank you. I'm glad. That's what I tried to do, right? They told you and showed you Biggie, Tupac, some members of Wu-Tang, Onyx, Shell, we go on. That's all I'm saying. I ain't saying y'all don't want y'all coming for me. I just stick to the law. That's all I do. Nicki is lying about nosy numbers going up per se, like she didn't have numbers before. This isn't her original channel, which had close to 500. Okay. Yeah, I'm not familiar with her. Thank you, Poetic Mouth. Thank you. Get the people together in the chat. I need y'all to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much, and thank you for stopping by. She's special. Everyone knows how refunds go. She gonna sue hers for defamation like everyone else. Y'all, I'm about to switch over and just do defamation in a bit. That might be my bread and butter. And then I'm gonna use you guys as my mock jury. And then I'm going to get you guys as my investigators and my researches because you guys inboxed me a whole lot of stuff. I even had cases you guys have inboxed me. And my assistant to make sure I'm going to teach somebody how to type this stuff up so they can file it. So we can have a whole big old online law firm doing defamation. We could do. Listen. I'm a gold member, face some of those issues myself. Yeah, but see, every time I've had issue with Hertz, they've done me right. I didn't have those issues. Like if it was an issue, like even if it was the car that I wanted and it wasn't there when I went there and they given me upgrades, the next time they make sure I have that car at no cost. It's been times that I only wanted it for a couple of days. Circumstances happened. They gave me a couple of free days. So I've always had where Hertz eventually like looked out. So you say, oh, can you do that? I'm adding it to my. I got you. You know, we can really be, I'm always, my wheels are always turning on how we can, because we analyze all this stuff. You guys are already looking on YouTube. Like you said, people tweeting me videos, sending me videos, and all of that. Like, we could be working this defamation thing. We really can. You said I'm down. I have the interest in death. Isn't it interesting though? It's very interesting. Like the young lady that I represented, I found cases that basically was a defense for her that gave her immunity that I probably would have never even knew was out there until I had her issue. I thought her issue was stupid, but it wasn't new. It was actually, it actually were teachers that have complained about parents that complained about them and they felt like it was defamatory what they complained to them about. It's like, what? Yep, it's called discovery. Yes. So when you have a period of discovery, and that is your investigative stage during litigation. So they usually give you, 90 days to 120 days, depending on how big your case is. Usually in federal court, we get 6 months. And you do your subpoenas, you do your depositions, you do all of that. But you do have to have investigators go out and interview people so you kind of know what their testimony would be and if they're worth you spending the money to depose them, if they are beneficial to your case. So, yes, that is the discovery period. You better go ahead and show your legal knowledge over here. So, well, that's all. I just wanted you guys to see the actual complaint because I saw a lot of people that were referring to articles and everyone, the quotes that the articles wanted to point out, but they didn't necessarily let everybody know the meat of the complaint. And that it has nothing to do with the child at all that everybody is so pissed off about. That's the one they wanted them to sue about was the baby. They're like, how you gonna talk about the babies? Like, seriously, I do think that's foul. But unfortunately, according to their attorney, it's not actionable. So it's not gonna, that's the baby. Like, what you really go ahead and do it, girl. All right, y'all. Well, you guys have a good night. Thank you guys so much. You said, are we using Westlaw? Nope, I use Westlaw in law school. I use Lexis and I use Casetext. Casetext is a newer research tool. It's cheaper for you to go to other states. So, like Lexis, is cheaper for you to only do a subscription for your current state. That's what makes it cheaper. But if you try to do other states, they charge you an arm and a leg, or they try to charge $25 per case and all of that. Nope. So Casetext allows me to do all 50s because, as you see, I do help a lot of people in other states, even if I'm not necessarily what we call pro hoc vice. I pro hoc viced in Georgia before on a personal injury case. I've done a few cases in Georgia. I do contracts that have New York laws that are attached to the contracts. And I've done California contracts that have California laws attached to them. So therefore, I'm required to know what those laws are there when it comes to entertainment. You said people love to cry defamation when their egos are bruised. Their feelings are hurt. And it's not to say what you're saying is not. I wish people could be nicer to people, but they're just not. That's just not the society that we live in. So yep. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. And if you haven't done so already, please like, please subscribe, and please share. Hopefully, this was helpful and beneficial to you guys. And again, it's just my opinion. I do not practice in the great state of New York. And I'm just saying on a situation, I help somebody with what our defense was at that time. And that's it. No more and no less. So I'm not telling nobody's attorney how they should do their case, and I'm not trying to get in their business. That's my disclaimer. But you guys have a great night. If you haven't checked out the video from yesterday, please go check it out. And I will holler at you guys next time.